Welcome, brave souls, to another spine-chilling episode of U.S. Horror Stories. I'm your host, Ben, and today we are delving into the unsettling and infamous history of the Amityville Horror House. Before we dive into our spine-chilling U.S. horror stories, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This way you won't miss any of our terrifying tales. In the heart of Amityville, where the veneer of normalcy masked the unsettling undercurrents, there stood a dwelling cloaked in shadows, 112 Ocean Avenue. Its facade, an ordinary guise concealing the supernatural abyss within, whispered promises of a chilling secret to those who dared to peer beyond the mundane. As twilight descended, the town's facade of tranquility crumbled, unveiling the enigmatic house that became a source of both curiosity and dread. 112 Ocean Avenue, a name whispered with trepidation, beckoned to those who sought the thrill of the unknown, a thrill that promised to grip their souls in an unyielding vice. Local legends spoke of an unfathomable force, an entity that defied explanation and ensnared the unsuspecting in its spectral embrace. The shadows around the house seemed to writhe with an ominous energy, as if the very air pulsated with the untold stories and malevolent secrets imprisoned within. Beneath the moonlit sky, the house loomed, an architectural enigma that challenged the bravest to unlock its mysteries. The tale of Amityville began not with whispers, but with an irresistible pull, a magnetic force that drew the curious toward the abyss where fear and the supernatural converged in an unholy dance. And so, as the first tendrils of night wrapped around 112 Ocean Avenue, the town held its breath, for the enigmatic house guarded secrets that would seize the hearts and minds of those who dared to delve into the whispering abyss. In the small town of Amityville, where narrow streets lined with quaint houses whispered tales of history, an ominous cloud cast its shadow over 112 Ocean Avenue. It was here that the DeFeo family had etched their name into the dark annals of the town's past. As the sun dipped below the horizon on that fateful evening, an air of tension hung thick in the DeFeo household. The patriarch, Ronald DeFeo Sr., known for his stern demeanor, paced nervously, the weight of unseen burdens etched on his face. Unbeknownst to the family, an invisible force was quietly weaving the fabric of tragedy. The evening unfolded with a sinister orchestration, culminating in an unthinkable act. In the dead of night, the echoes of gunshots shattered the quiet, sending shock waves through the once serene neighborhood. The DeFeo family, once vibrant and alive, now lay lifeless in the cold embrace of their home. The news of the DeFeo tragedy spread like wildfire, casting Amityville into a state of collective grief and disbelief. The whispers in the town square carried tales of an inexplicable darkness that had consumed the DeFeo household. Little did the town know that this chilling event was merely the overture to a haunting symphony that would resonate through the corridors of 112 Ocean Avenue, forever altering the destiny of the infamous house. The DeFeo tragedy was the prologue to a tale of malevolence that would unfold with the arrival of a new family, the Lutzes. And so, the stage was set. The first notes of the haunting melody played. The DeFeo tragedy, a chapter in the Amityville Horror saga, marked the beginning of a narrative that would transcend time and terrify generations to come. As the last echoes of the DeFeo tragedy lingered in the air, the unsuspecting Lutz family, George, Kathy, and their 3 children, embarked on a journey to create a new life within the walls of 112 Ocean Avenue. The autumn breeze carried with it a deceptive calm, masking the ominous undercurrents that awaited them. The moment the Lutzes crossed the threshold, the atmosphere within the house shifted. The wooden floors creaked beneath their footsteps, as if the very foundations were whispering secrets of the past. Unbeknownst to them, the dwelling itself seemed to draw a breath, inhaling the essence of their presence. The rooms, once witnesses to unspeakable horrors, now observed the hopeful anticipation of a new beginning. George, a man of logic and reason, dismissed the initial unease as mere jitters associated with moving into a new home. Little did he know, the house had a way of imprinting itself on the souls of those who dared to call it home. The days unfolded in a semblance of normalcy, but the nights painted a different picture. Strange sounds echoed through the corridors, an ethereal symphony of whispers and distant murmurs. Shadows danced on the walls, their movements betraying an otherworldly choreography. In the heart of the house, the infamous Red Room waited patiently, its existence known only to the spirits that roamed within. Its door, sealed shut, held secrets that would gradually seep into the Lutz family's reality. As the Lutzes settled into their new life, the house began to stir. Unseen hands traced invisible patterns in the air, and a malevolent force lay dormant, gathering strength. The stage was set for a haunting tale that transcended the realms of the living, where the past intertwined with the present in a macabre dance. And so, Chapter 2 unfolded, painting a portrait of anticipation tinged with an ever-growing sense of foreboding. The Lutz family moves in, marking the beginning of a descent into the heart of the Amityville Horror. As the days stretched into nights within the walls of 112 Ocean Avenue, the Lutz family found themselves caught in a web of inexplicable occurrences. Whispers of unseen entities lingered in the air, and the house seemed to pulsate with a sinister energy that intensified after dark. George, a skeptic by nature, could not deny the mounting evidence of the supernatural. The once soft whispers grew into audible murmurs, and the shadows that danced on the walls took on shapes that defied rational explanation. It started subtly. A door left ajar, a chill that permeated the air even on the warmest nights. But soon, the signs became impossible to ignore. Objects moved of their own accord as if manipulated by unseen hands. The air in the house seemed to thicken, carrying with it an otherworldly tension that left the family on edge. The children, innocent and perceptive, spoke of imaginary friends who whispered secrets only they could hear. Unbeknownst to them, these spectral companions were the echoes of entities that had long claimed 112 Ocean Avenue as their own. The Red Room, once a concealed enigma, began to exert its influence. Its presence manifested in dreams that blurred the line between the conscious and the supernatural. The room beckoned, its crimson allure pulling at the threads of the Lutzes' sanity. Nightmares became a nightly ritual, each family member ensnared in a unique web of terror spun by the malevolent force within the house. The once hopeful ambience of their new home had given way to an atmosphere charged with an ominous anticipation. It was as if the house itself reveled in its ability to unnerve, to awaken primal fears that lurked in the shadows of the human psyche. Sinister signs and omens unfolded in a crescendo of the macabre, setting the stage for a confrontation between the living and the spectral inhabitants that dwelled within the haunted confines of 112 Ocean Avenue. And so, Chapter 3 unfolded, a tale of mounting dread and spectral whispers that echoed through the darkened corridors of the Amityville Horror. As the Lutz family grappled with the mounting unease in their new home, the heart of the mystery began to reveal itself. The infamous Red Room. Nestled within the labyrinthine layout of 112 Ocean Avenue, this concealed chamber held secrets that defied the laws of the living. George, driven by an insatiable curiosity and an unsettling pull toward the unknown, found himself drawn to the enigmatic door that guarded the entrance to the Red Room. The air surrounding it seemed charged with an ethereal energy, a palpable force that hinted at the supernatural occurrences within. Night after night, George's dreams became a surreal journey into the depths of the Red Room. Its walls pulsed with an otherworldly glow, revealing cryptic symbols and ancient sigils that seemed to beckon from the shadows. The room itself appeared to breathe, as if possessed by a spectral entity eager to share its haunting secrets. Kathy, too, felt the inexorable pull of the Red Room in the depths of her sleep. Visions of a blood-red chamber unfolded, intertwining with the nightmares that plagued her waking hours. The room seemed to be a focal point, a nexus where the paranormal energies converged with a malevolence that transcended comprehension. The children, innocent witnesses to the unfolding horror, spoke of their own encounters with the Red Room in hushed tones. Playful laughter and childish giggles emanated from its depths, luring them into a spectral play that blurred the boundaries between the tangible and the supernatural. The Red Room became a focal point of the family's collective terror, a symbol of the malevolent force that had claimed dominion over 112 Ocean Avenue. Its secrets, locked behind the Scarlet Door, taunted the Lutzes, promising revelations that could either liberate them from the spectral chains or plunge them further into the abyss. And so, in the eerie glow of the Red Room, Chapter 4 unfolded, a tale of mystery, symbols, and a chamber that held the key to unlocking the darkest recesses of the Amityville Horror. As the days melded into nights within the foreboding confines of 112 Ocean Avenue, the spectral energies that permeated the house intensified, reaching a crescendo of haunting malevolence. The Lutz family, ensnared in a web of supernatural terror, found themselves at the mercy of forces that defied comprehension. The once muted whispers evolved into guttural moans that echoed through the halls. Shadows, once benign observers, took on a life of their own, manifesting into indistinct shapes that seemed to feed on the family's mounting fear. George, tormented by relentless nightmares that blurred the lines between dream and reality, became a vessel for the supernatural. His waking hours were plagued by an unshakable sense of being watched, as unseen eyes followed his every move. Kathy, once the anchor of the family, felt the weight of an unseen presence pressing down on her. The air in the house hung heavy, with a palpable tension that seemed to converge on her very soul. The children, innocent in their perception of the world, were no longer shielded from the spectral play unfolding around them. Imaginary friends became sinister companions, their laughter now tinged with a haunting quality that sent shivers down the spines of the Lutz family. Objects levitated, suspended in defiance of gravity, as if the very laws of the physical world bowed to the supernatural forces within the house. The temperature fluctuated wildly, creating pockets of bone-chilling cold that seemed to follow the family from room to room. The Red Room, once a mysterious sanctuary, now pulsated with an otherworldly glow that spilled into the adjacent corridors. Its Scarlet Door, a gateway to the unknown, seemed to breathe with a life of its own, a silent witness to the escalating malevolence that gripped 112 Ocean Avenue. The haunting had transcended the realm of mere specters. It had become an entity, a sentient force that reveled in the disquiet it sowed. Chapter 5 unfolded in a symphony of supernatural escalation, a tale of a family ensnared in the tightening grip of the Amityville Horror, where the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred into an indistinguishable haze of terror. In the heart of the Amityville Horror, as the malevolent forces within 112 Ocean Avenue reached their zenith, the Lutz family found themselves at the precipice of a confrontation with an entity that defied the laws of the living. The house seemed to pulse with a malevolence that demanded acknowledgement, a silent challenge to those who dared to question its dominion. George, driven by a mix of terror and determination, embarked on a quest to unravel the mysteries that bound the house and his family in a vice-like grip. The nightmares that once confined themselves to the realm of sleep spilled into the waking world, manifesting as hallucinations that blurred the lines between reality and the supernatural. Kathy, sensing an impending cataclysm, grappled with an overwhelming sense of dread. Every creak in the floorboards, every flicker of a shadow, became an ominous prelude to a confrontation that loomed on the horizon. The children, unwitting conduits to the paranormal, bore witness to a house that seemed to rebel against the very laws of nature. Playful laughter turned into plaintive cries as their innocence became entangled in the sinister dance that unfolded within the walls of their home. The Red Room, its enigma now an inescapable reality, exerted its influence on the family's psyche. Dreams became a battleground where the living and the spectral clashed, each night a descent into a twisted reality where the boundaries of sanity blurred. As the days crawled toward a climactic reckoning, the house itself seemed to breathe with a sentience that sought to consume the very souls of its inhabitants. Shadows morphed into grotesque figures, and whispers coalesced into tormented screams that reverberated through the corridors. And so, in the heart of Chapter 6, the Lutz family stood at the crossroads of terror and revelation, a confrontation with the malevolent entity that had claimed 112 Ocean Avenue as its haunted domain. The Amityville Horror had transcended the realm of mere haunting. It had become a malevolent force that demanded acknowledgement, and the stage was set for a harrowing reckoning. As the malevolent force within 112 Ocean Avenue tightened its grip, the Lutz family sought solace in the divine. Desperation led them to Father Ray, a Catholic priest whose conviction in the face of the supernatural made him a beacon of hope. Father Ray, clad in his priestly vestments, crossed the threshold of the ominous house, armed not only with faith, but with an unwavering determination to confront the unseen malevolence that lurked within. The air itself seemed to change as he stepped over the threshold, as if the house recoiled from the sanctity he brought with him. The sacred rites and prayers echoed through the haunted halls, reverberating against the oppressive energy that permeated every corner. Father Ray, undeterred by the shadows that clung to the walls, began the sacred ritual to cleanse the house of the unholy forces that held it captive. But the malevolent entity within 112 Ocean Avenue was not so easily vanquished. The priest's prayers seemed to stoke the flames of the supernatural, awakening a dormant fury that manifested in violent disruptions. Objects moved, the temperature plummeted, and an unearthly growl echoed through the air. Father Ray, his faith unwavering, pressed on, casting holy water and reciting incantations with a fervor that defied the escalating chaos. The very fabric of the house seemed to resist the divine intervention, as if the entity itself fought back against the intrusion of sacred rites. The confrontation between priest and poltergeist reached its zenith, culminating in a moment of eerie silence. The air, once thick with malevolence, now carried a sense of reluctant calm. Father Ray, exhausted but resolute, sensed a temporary reprieve, an acknowledgement from the other side that the divine had breached the spectral veil. And so, in the hallowed aftermath of Chapter 7, the house stood as a battleground where faith clashed with the supernatural. The priest's visit became a pivotal moment in the ongoing saga of the Amityville Horror, a testament to the indomitable spirit that sought to reclaim the haunted home from the grip of the malevolent unknown. As the echoes of Father Ray's sacred intervention faded, the Lutz family faced a chilling realization. The malevolent force within 112 Ocean Avenue was not so easily subdued. The brief respite granted by the priest's visit was but a fleeting interlude in the relentless symphony of horror that enveloped their lives. Haunted by the ever-escalating supernatural onslaught, George and Kathy Lutz grappled with a decision that would reshape their destiny, the desperate need to escape the clutches of the haunted house. The sanctuary they had sought had transformed into a malevolent prison, its walls whispering ancient secrets and its corridors resonating with tormented echoes. In the dead of night, when the moon cast an ethereal glow upon the haunting facade of 112 Ocean Avenue, the Lutz family made their harrowing escape. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, punctuated only by the soft footfalls of the fleeing family and the distant echoes of spectral murmurs. As they crossed the threshold for the last time, the house seemed to recoil, its very foundations protesting the departure of those who had dared to challenge its dominion. Shadows clung to the edges of reality, reluctant to release their hold on the souls that had briefly inhabited the haunted abode. The journey beyond the confines of Amityville unfolded like a desperate flight from the unknown. The family, their nerves frayed and their psyches scarred, left behind the spectral battleground that had become their living nightmare. The echoes of their footsteps carried with them the weight of the malevolent entity's reluctant release. And so, in the cold embrace of Chapter 8, the Lutz family embarked on a journey into the unknown, a flight from a house that had become a crucible of horror. Escape from Amityville marked not just a departure from a physical location, but a desperate bid to break free from the intangible chains that bound them to a haunting legacy. In the wake of the Lutz family's escape from the malevolent clutches of 112 Ocean Avenue, the haunting tale of Amityville erupted into a media frenzy. News outlets clamored for the sensational story that seemed to transcend the boundaries of the natural world, and the public, hungry for tales of the supernatural, became enthralled by the spectral drama that unfolded within the haunted house. Headlines screamed with sensationalism, painting a vivid picture of a house possessed by unseen forces and a family tormented by malevolent spirits. Reporters, armed with microphones and cameras, descended upon the quiet town of Amityville, turning the Lutz family's ordeal into a spectacle that captured the collective imagination. The once private sanctuary of 112 Ocean Avenue became a pilgrimage site for the curious and the daring, drawn by the allure of the paranormal. The media circus, fueled by eyewitness accounts and the lingering aura of supernatural dread, perpetuated the mystique of Amityville and elevated the haunted house to an iconic status within the realm of horror folklore. Skeptics and believers alike engaged in heated debates, their discussions permeating the airwaves and print media. The very fabric of reality seemed to warp as the boundaries between fact and fiction blurred, leaving the truth of the Amityville Horror suspended in a liminal space. As the media storm raged on, the Lutz family became unwitting celebrities, their lives laid bare for public scrutiny. The haunting legacy of 112 Ocean Avenue extended beyond the confines of its walls, seeping into the collective consciousness of a fascinated audience. And so, in the frenetic whirlwind of Chapter 9, the Amityville Horror became more than a mere haunting. It became a cultural phenomenon, a narrative woven into the fabric of public intrigue. The media frenzy surrounding the Lutz family's ordeal propelled the haunted house into the annals of paranormal history, ensuring that the spectral echoes of Amityville would resonate for generations to come. As the media frenzy surrounding Amityville gradually subsided, 112 Ocean Avenue stood as a silent sentinel, bearing witness to the enduring legacy of fear it had etched upon the canvas of paranormal lore. The Lutz family, now forever entwined with the haunting narrative, had left behind a house that whispered tales of malevolence to those who dared listen. The once quiet town of Amityville became synonymous with supernatural dread, its name invoking a shiver down the spine of anyone familiar with the harrowing tale. The legacy of fear extended beyond the physical confines of the haunted house, reaching into the collective psyche of those who pondered the enigma of 112 Ocean Avenue. Haunted house enthusiasts, paranormal investigators, and thrill-seekers flocked to Amityville, drawn by the irresistible pull of the supernatural. The infamous house, now vacant, became a symbol of the unknown, a place where the veil between the living and the dead seemed to ripple with spectral energy. Urban legends and ghost stories intertwined with the factual accounts of the Lutz family's ordeal, creating a tapestry of terror that transcended the boundaries of reality. The haunting of Amityville became a cautionary tale, a narrative whispered around campfires and shared in hushed tones by those who reveled in the thrill of the macabre. The spectral imprint of the Red Room, the echoes of unseen footsteps, and the lingering presence of the malevolent entity lingered like a ghostly fingerprint on the very fabric of the haunted house. The legacy of fear persisted, carried by the wind that swept through the abandoned corridors and the shadows that danced in the moonlit windows. And so, in the quiet aftermath of Chapter 10, the legacy of Amityville Horror endured, a chilling testament to the indomitable power of the supernatural and the spectral echoes that lingered in the wake of the Lutz family's escape. The haunted house had become more than a dwelling. It had become a timeless tale that would echo through the annals of horror history, leaving an indelible mark on the collective imagination. In the hushed aftermath of the Amityville Horror, the haunted house at 112 Ocean Avenue stood as a silent sentinel, its weathered facade concealing the spectral tapestry woven within its walls. The Lutz family, forever marked by the malevolent forces that had ensnared them, had ventured into the realm of the unknown, leaving behind a legacy of fear that transcended the confines of time. The media circus had long dispersed, leaving the town of Amityville to reclaim its quietude. Yet the whispers of the supernatural lingered, carried by the wind that rustled through the branches and the shadows that danced in the moonlit night. The Red Room, once concealed in mystery, retained its secrets, echoing with the whispers of a malevolent entity that had etched its presence into the very essence of the house. The legacy of Amityville endured, not merely as a haunting tale, but as a narrative that resonated in the collective consciousness. Urban legends and ghost stories intertwined with factual accounts, creating a spectral symphony that echoed through the annals of horror history. The house, once a sanctuary turned malevolent prison, became a symbol of the unknown, a place where the veil between the realms of the living and the dead seemed to flutter in perpetual ambiguity. The Lutz family's escape marked the end of a chapter, yet the echoes of their harrowing ordeal reverberated in perpetuity. 112 Ocean Avenue became a timeless enigma, a testament to the indomitable power of the supernatural and the enduring allure of the macabre. As the moon cast its ethereal glow over the haunted house, the spectral energies within stirred, as if acknowledging the permanence of their presence. The tale of Amityville became a haunting refrain, a narrative whispered in the quiet corners of the world, where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blurred, and the legacy of fear lingered in eternity.